I looked at it like, from that point, maybe 50 brung a bag for Meech and maybe a watch or something. Because obviously that's what Ross did or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I had in mind.
50 Cent says he gave the BMF family $5 million legal dollars, so he does not understand where the money went, how Lil Meech blew it before Big Meech got out of jail, but he feels extremely betrayed after that picture got taken between Big Meech and Rick Ross after he got out of jail.
But look, 50. Boy, I see you struggling making that G-Unit film studio out there in Louisiana where that cheapest land at. You thought you was gonna be able to do it. You thought you was gonna be able to get them loans, and it ain't. What's wrong? What's taking so?
Welcome back to Fame Flux, where the real story of a celebrity is revealed. Lil Meech did not simply leave 50 Cent. He supposedly teamed up with one of 50's most infamous enemies to vanish with $10 million.
50, who own your masters? Who own your masters? I buy your masters. You better shut up. I will buy your masters. But look, 50. Boy, I see you struggling making that G-Unit film studio out there in Louisiana where that cheapest land at. You thought you was gonna be able to do it. You thought you was gonna be able to get them loans, and it ain't. What's wrong? What's taking so long? I know you want to make your mama one of them walking stars thing. Put down there. Your mama live. Her own walking star. We call it renderings. You had the renderings, then you try to go get them loans, and ain't nobody loan you that money. You ain't even built the G-Unit studio yet. That might be why when I stood next to Meech, your knees buckled. Your knees buckled. Put your back against the wall. You're po hustling.
The entire industry was taken aback by this sudden action following years of encouragement, financial assistance, and mentoring. Now that Rick Ross is involved, it seems like 50 Cent is getting up for a more direct conflict since private communications have surfaced. However, there was trust and a significant investment prior to betrayal. It was more than just casting when 50 Cent chose Demetrius Lil Meech Flannery Jr. to play his father Big Meech in Star's BMF. It was an occasion that changed the meaning of a legacy. At the time, Lil Meech had no prior acting experience. Hollywood was giving him little, if any, opportunities, and his priority had been music. 50 saw more. He used his own money to pay for 2 years of private acting school, which helped Lil Meech become a well-known television personality. It did not end there either. According to reports, 50 Cent helped the Flannery family obtain more than $5 million in clean legal capital by sending money to them directly behind the scenes. It went beyond charity. It was organized. There were already plans for multiple seasons, spin-offs, and movie adaptations. The BMF brand was predicted to bring in between $30 and $50 million if all went according to plan.
What up, though? Boston Lil Boss. And today I'm coming to tell all my supporters, if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, wherever you got, you trying to make it go up, hit me right now.
This was a route to something permanent, mainstream, and completely legitimate for a family that had previously prospered on the black market. A fresh chapter based on loyalty, trust, and the desire to make a movie. Big Meech saw his kid become well known around the country while he was still behind bars. His name was brought back to life and is currently being featured on primetime television. However, the music industry, lawyers, or former colleagues were not the source of this revival. It resulted from a strategic business decision made by 50 Cent. He brought the BMF brand back to life and made it a force in popular culture, paving the way for long-term success for the following generation. 50 Cent did more than simply bring back a tradition, never demanding credit for the enterprise he reorganized or airing the millions he spent. However, that silence has changed recently. The rumors started to circulate. Why would a person of 50 Cent's caliber seem so impacted by what many refer to as a straightforward financial error or fallout? There may be more to the answer. According to industry rumors, 50 Cent was depending a lot on this endeavor. He viewed BMF as a multi-generational enterprise rather than just a source of information. This divide goes beyond money, as even Rick Ross has admitted. Ross placed himself in a way that would have the biggest impact as 50 Cent's prominence in this field started to wane. The release of Big Meech from prison in October was the tipping point. One of the most significant players in street history was anticipated to make a huge comeback after decades in prison.
But if 50 Cent gives your family $5 million in cash, whether it's through acting. I think he was paying for acting lessons for Lil Meech. You gotta have some appreciation. And before more details unfolded, like 5 million, because people were like, oh, 50 Cent doesn't pay people, he's always suing people. Look how he paid Ghost from Power less than Mary J. Blige on Power Book. But if Lil Meech got $5 million and he's nobody except the son of somebody famous, then he definitely could have treaded carefully with this Rick Ross.
Many were hoping for a reunion with 50 Cent, possibly a BMF documentary with the genuine Empire Architect, a press tour, or behind-the-scenes footage. However, none of that took place. Rather, Big Meech made an appearance with 50 Cent's longtime industry adversary, Rick Ross.
This story right here is complete and utter bullshit.
This was not a coincidental incident or a passive moment. It was planned. Instagram posts, welcome home concerts, and car exhibitions.
As we know, Meech didn't actually leave for the halfway house. He's on home confinement because of the First Step Act and winning his 821 motion in federal court. After spending nearly 20 years in federal prison, Demetrius Big Meech Flannery left the federal prison in Coleman, Florida, Coleman Low, on October 15th for home confinement. Now, before you say I don't know what I'm talking about, it says right here that he's in the RRM in Miami. He's actually on home confinement. It says RRM because the RRM, or the halfway house, or really the re-entry manager, is administering his home confinement in Miami through the halfway house that's owned by Dismiss Charity.
Meech was actively embracing Ross rather than merely being a parent, the people that kept the BMF name alive while Meech's incarceration were not acknowledged, nor were there any public thank yous or references to 50 Cent's years of involvement. Originally meant to be a celebration, it now appeared to be a calculated step away from the person who had made it possible. This indicated a deliberate rejection rather than merely a lost chance. 50 Cent first remained mute, but for him, quiet has never meant harmony. It is a sign of a storm building in the background. The industry is now wondering where all the money went.
I looked at the computer said, Floyd said, yeah, Nelly 50. I'm like, what did he say me for? Nelly first baby mama Melissa, then took your fiance, say that.
50 Cent claims that he assisted the Lenore family in obtaining more than $5 million in legal clean money from the BMF series. This was something that 50 publicly supported. It was not just conjecture. Even how he did it was explained. Sponsored the rebranding of BMF into a sustainable business strategy and paid to send Lil Meech to acting school. In a now viral post, 50 called out the situation explicitly, claiming that he paid for all of the main expenses to make Lil Meech a star while others sat back. How come old boy did not watch out for me? Frustrated is what he wrote. I made more than $5 million in real money for your family, and it is gone. He continued by taking aim at ME's directly discovered picture. The family was trying too hard to shine, according to 50. You want to shine so bad, you are wearing the baby's jewels, he wrote on social media before adding, give the kid back his jewelry. It was a statement about how swiftly the money had purportedly vanished with nothing to show, not just an insult. Meanwhile, word quickly got out that Meech and Lil Meech were having a lot of financial difficulties. According to reports, Lil Meech was charging $500 for customized commercial videos. The optics were not fantastic for someone who was previously the face of a multi-million-dollar corporation. 50 Cent did not pass up the chance to make fun of this. With the remark, Big Screech had Meech doing promos, he shared a video, $500 a pop. While it is still available, get one. The message was quite real, even though the page was probably a hoax. Regardless of who made the GoFundMe, the person who constructed the new BMF was now the one being deleted. The internet was in a frenzy after 50 Cent shared it. The spoof advertisement boldly stated that Big Meech required assistance, paying an incredible $30,000 per month for an Airbnb apartment. Naturally, 50 added his own twist with a message. One of P's cribs is helping Big Screech pay his $30,000 monthly Airbnb. Special thanks to quality control. The aim was obvious, and the shade was indisputable. However, 50 was not done. He continued to drag Rapping 42 to maintain the pace, investigated the escalating dispute. Doug allegedly handed Big Meech $100,000, according to a social media post 50 shared with a commentary, giving screech $100,000 was a mistake. You could have provided your... Let us move on to Lil Meech, whose actions have not helped to defuse the situation. According to Yayo, Lil Meech has been spending money carelessly and squandering it as if it were limitless. The buying spree was difficult to ignore, ranging from spending $500,000 on a handmade BMF chain to spending $100,000 on Chrome Hearts pants. Big Meech is apparently having trouble paying for his post-prison lifestyle. Even worse, Lil Meech seemed to take offense as soon as 50 Cent unfollowed him. However, the unfollow was a logical move given that level of expenditure and the lack of tangible results. It is giving broke with money, as Yayo stated quite bluntly. Perception is crucial in the high-stakes realm of loyalty and entertainment. Strong rumors circulated that 50 Cent was not angry about the loss of the money. It was spent that way. 50 Cent allegedly made the final power play right after it appeared that he had moved over the drama with Lil Meech. Rumor has it that 50 purchased the halfway house where Meech must live by law. Yes, exactly. Allegedly, Big Meech, who once oversaw a multi-million-dollar criminal enterprise that rocked the nation, is now paying 50 Cent rent, and he did not maintain the move in typical 50's way. Low-key. 50 grinned and remarked, "Business is business," during an interview. Whether it is true or not, I put that toilet duty and clean up all day. Social media went into overdrive after the statement. Nobody failed to notice the irony. Even though Meech is officially free, if this story is true, he is still in danger. Online fans were enamored. According to several critics, this is the pinnacle 50th trolling post. This story is whole and completely nonsensical. It is possible that Captain Meech is not at a halfway house at all. That assertion suggests that the whole thing might be a masterpiece of marketing fiction. Others still contend that we are discussing 50 Cent. He thrives on trolling, but more significantly, additionally, perception may be more important in this scenario than evidence. It was Lil Meech. It is very evident on Instagram where his loyalty presently stands. "Before I prayed to God for anything," he posted, "I was careful to ask him to bring my father to my family at home. My prayers were heard. I cherish you, Dad." That final remark, death before dishonor, was more than just words. He was unquestionably Team Big Meech from that point on. But what came next was much more devastating. He and his father seemed to be siding with Rick Ross now. Ross acted swiftly, securing Mitch's cosign, organizing a welcome home concert, and marketing the event as though it were the homecoming of royalty. Let us call it that. Ross was not acting in this way because he liked the BMF brand. He saw a chance, provided a check, and capitalized on a long-standing enmity by using Meech's name. Respect was never the issue. From a great distance, 50 Cent could see that it was a planned, stinging maneuver. The manipulation was more painful to him than betrayal. And then there was another blow. Known for his own rocky past with 50 Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather made a comeback, appearing next to Rick Ross and Lil Meech. Everything took place at Lucky Strike Miami, and this was a statement, not just a night out. It was a full branding moment when Lil Meech arrived, not just to hang around, but to give Mayweather exclusive drops from his Red Letters X collaboration. Big Meech joined over the phone as the cameras flashed. Ross and Floyd were in the spotlight as they laughed and talked like it was a family get-together. It was impossible to overlook the symbolism. The legacy was now embracing the very people who had disagreed with 50. He put a lot of effort on elevating, and then he did it. A silent conflict centered on loyalty, legacy, and retaliation erupted around the BMF brand. Lil Meech appears at the courtside alongside Floyd Mayweather and Rick Ross. Two of 50 Cent's most well-known competitors sent a clear message, and 50 squandered time without answering. With the following caption, he shared a video of Meech and Ross making fun of the meeting. "I am a lookout, you tell your parents. What is the address? Over there. I'm going to send some wings." He quickly removed the message, as usual, but the harm was already done. This went beyond business. Lil Meech was not the only lead that 50 Cent cast. He invested in him, mentored him, and, in his own words, prevented him from destroying himself. In one post, 50 revealed the true reason behind the veil. He was deeply wounded. "I believe he felt uneasy about my friendship with Mimi." He wrote, "I am telling Mimi that I would rather he not do drugs. I used to do X," he tells him, as if it were cool. "I encourage Mimi to calm down and quit wasting all of her money." He informed him of the amount of money he had wasted. People people are unaware. Mimi had to go to treatment. This was not just advice. Intervention was what it was. 50 claims that things got so bad that Lil Meech showed up on set drunk. According to reports, Russell Hornsby saw it immediately, and then there was an incident during a weapons test. The fallout was mounting to support his assertions, and the worry was genuine. 50 even included a video of the tale being co-signed by Gene Deal Diddy, Diddy's former bodyguard. Gene attested to the fact that 50 had intervened due to significant problems behind the scenes. Not out of duty, but because I believe in the legacy of the BMF. This was a personal feud, not simply another internet one. This betrayal was exposed for everyone to see. Perhaps Lil Meech's BMF was collapsing as well. When trust is violated, a career business cannot thrive, and Big Meech made it very evident where his allegiance currently lies. What if, however, this was more than just betrayal? What would happen if Big Meech deliberately undercut his own son? The theory is becoming more popular, and it is not as crazy as it seems. This initially appeared to be typical industrial friction. 50 cents are being computed. Rick Ross taking advantage of a situation. After prison, Big Meech is pursuing a comeback bag. Zooming out, however, changes the plot. Music, television, and trademark rights are no longer the only topics. The drama is more profound and intimate. A covert rivalry between parent and son, disguised as a battle over labels. After spending years in prison, some people think Meech returned with a toxic mixture of pride, worry, and legacy that he needed to prove to his kid as well as the world. This had all the makings of a redemption tale, a father's second chance, a son's generational empire. Rather, it is turning into a warning about ego management and lost chances. A throne that his son had been keeping for him was something Big Meech attempted to regain. He might have burned the bridge they both needed in the process. Additionally, BMF's future is in jeopardy now that 50 Cent is officially out. 50 fans have already warned that this could be the end, and the stars have not confirmed a renewal. Even if Rick Ross is circling, he is legally prohibited from touching the BMF movie. Even though there may already be irreparable cultural harm, Franchise 50 retains such rights. Is it true that Lil Meech sold out 50 Cent for $10 million? Or was loyalty really a front and was the wrong person in command all along? Or was this always a well-planned, protracted scam that was carried out from behind the prison walls? Leave a comment below, and do not forget to like, subscribe, and watch our next video if you want more unvarnished analyses and genuine industry information. This is not the end of the narrative.